Hey guys, what's going on? This is Mark with NCEngravers, and it's been crazy busy for the last couple of months. I wanted to just kind of catch you guys up with what's going on. We haven't posted anything since the earlier part of the year. We're hoping to get back to posting stuff. Of course, we're processing work as normal, but there's been a lot that has gone on since probably about January, February area. And I just want to catch you guys up on that. I want to tell you a little bit more about what's going on here, what to expect as a business, where we are, what are we doing, what's all this going on around me. We're gonna do a little bit of a walkthrough through here, show you exactly what we've been working on. Sorry, I've got some stuff in my throat. This is going to be super non-edited, raw footage for those of you that like that kind of content. This is kind of going to be it for you. If you just like the videos of slide work, then you may want to wait for some of our other stuff to come out. So, we signed a 3-year contract, and I guess before I jump into this, I've been thinking pretty hard here the last couple of months about doing some YouTube videos that would explain how we went from a business, a hobby, I guess, to a business out of our house, to renting, to now owning, which is exactly what this video is all about, and those hardships and hurdles that you go through when you do that. And I know there's a lot of people that have businesses that they run out of their house, and they've thought about getting a storefront, or they thought about someday getting into a building. And I'm not going to discourage anyone, but I will tell you that there is a lot that's involved with each one of those steps. It's like climbing a mountain, and when you get to the top of the mountain of working out of your house, you start at the base of the next mountain for renting. And then when you get to that point, you start at the base of the next mountain for owning. So each one of these, you're going to keep climbing and climbing, and whenever you get to the peak and you're happy with it, you essentially start over. And the next mountain you climb is higher than the last, and it's more difficult. So someday maybe we'll do those videos. If you want to hear those, I can break those up into sections, and then you guys could actually understand the thought process and maybe the workload of how we got there. But for us, mid-2020, we moved out of our house and into a rental facility, which in my opinion was probably one of the best things we did as far as a business. I think it really allowed us to grow our business. We did get our FFL, so we were a licensed firearms dealer to take stuff in, across state lines, and of course stuff in person. And these were all things that I do believe were the next step on how do you grow your business and how do you get the attraction of local people, right? That was the idea, is how do you entertain local people? How do you get people from online? How do you become more of a storefront? How do you get a Google published address? These are all things that are pretty rough, right, to get. So we rented, and it was a great opportunity, I think, with us having a storefront, having more room, getting more machines. We moved into more CNC machines, more laser machines. We had just physically more room to work than we've ever had out of our house. It was a business location. You could segment that off for hours instead of just people trying to come to your house and get stuff done or find your address and show up at 9:00 at night. So it was a great opportunity. In the beginning of, I'd say, this year, we kind of had a feeling that we didn't want to rent again. And a lot of that came down to, we asked for a copy of the new contract. It's a 3-year contract at our old place, where essentially it's just like it sounds. You basically sign for 3 years, and then at that point you either renew or you get out, right? And so we asked, can we get a copy of our contract to see, is this the rate the same? Are there changes? What's going on? Is there anything we need to know about? And they dragged their feet about getting us that contract. So we kind of had a feeling at that time we should probably start looking for either a secondary house that's more so in the country, where we could maybe get away with some of the stuff that we would want to do, like shoot and not really annoy our neighbors. Or do we want to get into a storefront, right, and own one? Or do we want to rent again? So somewhere along the line, one of these things has to kind of come to the surface. Unless the contract's just amazing, then we'll sign again. And we've been looking around and really just didn't find anything. And then what ended up happening was they gave us a copy of our contract and it was absolutely crazy. And we had still been looking, but I would dare say we asked probably around January, and we didn't get the contract till maybe May. So we were always kind of in that: are we staying? Are we going? What are we doing here? For those those couple of months at the beginning of the year. Now our contract ended in July. The beginning of July, the end of June. So that the turn of June to July was when we switched. That's kind of when it was renew or get out. And our contract went from, I guess the best way to say it is it would have been a 3-year contract, and every year at the turn of the year it would have adjusted, right? So the first year, renewing, right, which is this year, July, we would have signed a new contract, and we would have went up $800 more a month in rent just to be there. Okay, so for you to put that into perspective, because I'm not there anymore and I don't really care, it would have been about $2,250 before you even get into any kind of utilities or your own personal stuff that is associated with renting, renter's insurance and all this other stuff, right? So $2,250 in 23, middle of 23. 24 would have went to $23.50, and then it would have went to $24.50. So every year it would have went up basically $100, till eventually we would have went from $14.50 is where we ended at our old one to $24.50 at the 3-year mark. So it would have went up $1,000 at the 3-year mark for that last year. So that being said, we just financially we looked at it and said we could probably swing this, but what's the point of doing this? It didn't seem logical for 2,600 square feet, for not right on the main storefront. We were in a warehouse. I'm not saying it was bad. Once again, I think this is a great growing opportunity, but it's also taking a lot of money out of your pocket to basically essentially run your business, right? When you could have, and I know we couldn't have done this, but when at some point in time you could have worked out of your house, or you could have maybe bought a building or bought a house and financially made it more affordable. So these are all these hurdles. These are the things you have to take into consideration when you're talking about business, and you're talking about how much you make and where's the money going, and those kind of things. So we ended up buying a building, and there was just so many things to this building that needed to be adjusted, changed, done. It's a 2-story building. It's 4,000 square feet. It's right on the main road. It's kind of hard to explain if you're not from this area, but it's basically you get off one side of the highway and you drive 2 miles and you're there. Or if you came from the other side of the highway, kind of like a north versus south thing, you'd get off on a different exit, and it's still two miles to get here. So we're kind of a cut through between 2 exits on the same highway. Think of it kind of like a business versus a regular highway that kind of merged together somewhere. So it's something similar to that. Well, that being said, the building didn't have an overhead door in the basement, which is where the slab is. So we couldn't put machines upstairs because this is a wooden floor like you would get with like a house. It's 4,000 square feet, so it's 2,000 square feet downstairs, 2,000 square feet upstairs. Great opportunity for us to grow because there is a lot more room. The downside is there's just so many things at this building that I wish we would have had more time to sort out. To put things into perspective, we hope to have signed the paperwork on this building in June, so we had 30 days to move. That also means in that same 30-day window, we would have had to clean up and get out. We also would have had to make accommodations here. So anything from, power requirements to utilities to internet, camera systems, all of this stuff would have had to flow in 30 days to make this work, to move the business and run the business all at the same time. So you can't just pick up one day and set it down the next and you hope it works, especially when machines take certain power requirements. And how does it work, right? This also means in that same 30 days we would have had to cut a hole in the side of the building and put an overhead door in order to get the machines into this building, because there wasn't one. There's a man door downstairs, and even then it was kind of a janky man door that somebody made and modified because of some water issues, which is a whole nother story in another video. With that being said, guys, it was didn't work out like that. No. So we got to the point where we did put an offer in on the building. We wanted the building, and that kind of turned into, we didn't get the appraisal done on the building through the bank. When I say we, I mean we didn't. The bank was supposed to issue a appraisal to make sure everything was good to go, and that didn't take place until sometime around the first week of June, which means we didn't close on the building until like June 15th. Somewhere, give it a couple days. My memory is probably not that great right now. So that left us with 2 weeks to cut a hole in the wall downstairs, get in, set power up, set whatever else up you need, get out of the old building, clean the old building. There's just nothing fun about this. And I think that it's been a really big learning experience. I don't necessarily mean that in a negative way, and I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean that just taking it for what it is. There's been a lot going on since the middle of June to now, and we are officially, slowing down. And what I mean by that is not work-wise, but machines are where they're supposed to be. Paint booths have been made. The doors in. We're building a lobby. Like, we're finally getting, somewhere to the point where we can come to work and not come to work to do something. There's always going to be something to do, trust me. With that being said, I think it was a great opportunity to buy this building. I think it's the timeline could have been a lot better. I wish we would have found the building and made arrangements and got in this building in probably May, maybe even mid-April. Would have been just absolutely amazing, when we had time to do what we needed to do. With that being said, guys, we are still processing work as normal. All the machines are back up and running with the exception of one of the big lasers that cut stuff, because we have to build another room with an evacuation system for it. So with that, kind of on the table, all of our cut work is still being offered. Nothing's changed. We are going to get back to making YouTube videos. I do have one for you that's going to be coming out today or tomorrow. So there's a possibility that maybe you'll have an opportunity to get back into that. I'm going to show you guys some stuff. I mean, if you don't care, this place is torn up and destroyed. There's a lot going on here, and you have to understand that this place, let me tell you about this place. So this place is, once again, it's 4,000 square feet. So there's 2,000 square feet upstairs and 2,000 square feet downstairs. Our old place is 2,600 square feet. So there's a lot of extra space. There's a lot of opportunity here to build rooms that we didn't have before. We made do with what we had to do at the old place, but this place actually will allow us to build things that we want. If we want a break room, if we want a storage room, if we want a whatever. There's just physically more room here than there was over there, which is one of the huge bonuses of, being here. This was a florist shop, very open floor plan. What I mean by that is there pretty much were no rooms. So yeah, I mean, there's a bathroom, there's like a little, office room. Unfortunately, I believe, and this is my only opinion, only my opinion, I guess I should say, is that I believe that this place probably was one of those, like, we kind of just fixed things when we needed to. And, I've always told people, if you bought the building you wanted, you'd have everything you want, but you probably can't afford it. And it's true. If you literally bought the building you wanted in life, you'd spend more money than you probably have for what you're doing. If you look at it the other way and say, I got a deal on it, you're kind of expected to do those things, right? So, those are all kind of just the story behind what you run into. We kind of fell into the don't have time to do anything, so get into a building and move and hope it works out. So that's kind of our plan there. I don't think it worked out real good. So since this was a florist shop, there was a cooler upstairs and a cooler downstairs that must have been for flowers. There was definitely a display cooler over here, which I've got some pictures, and if I decide to add them to it, maybe I'll add them to it. I really didn't want to edit this video wanted to kind of give it to you guys raw. And I'm not going to show you the whole building. There is some personal stuff in here that we don't want to display, and of course we don't want to give the complete layout or what the layout's going to be once it is done, because if somebody was to break in, we don't really want to have them navigate where they're going. So with that being said, there was a big cooler here, and when the cooler was removed, there was a massive black spot on the wall, which I think was like a ventilation for the side of the cooler, and it had burnt the paint off the wall. Or over time, I guess it just got super hot and started flaking off, because it's a cinder block building with like a brick front on it. So, you know, that was kind of like, got to fix that. Also, underneath the cooler, there was some water damage, so we had to tear the floor out, subflooring out all the way down to basically to the joists, and then re-subfloor until we put a hardwood floor in. So these are all things that we've done ourselves, because I used to build houses a long time ago for 2 years. So I guess I didn't really build houses, but I guess I assisted. Thank you, Mr. John Avery, for that, for my training. Appreciate it. It's coming handy. With that being said, I'll show you guys what's going on here. I'm not sure I'll take you guys downstairs. We might do another video. I don't know if that's even something you guys are interested in or not. I know this is just a catch-up video. So with that being said, there is absolutely tons of paneling, as you can see in here. So this is all got to get ripped off. He's got boards, he's got hooks, he's got hangers, he's got telephone lines, he's got old doorbell ringers and stuff that we are not using. He's got a window in here in the middle of the room for, I don't know, apparently you want to look out the window into the other room. With that being said, let's take a walk. So this is where the cooler was. So we ended up, and you can't really tell all that amazing, but this flooring has been replaced down in through here, and we will, you can kind of see it here. We'll probably end up doing a couple pictures where it was all tore out. This dude's got stuff, you can see in the background. He's got stuff hanging from the ceilings, lights, can lights, fans, track lighting, overhead lighting. He's got everything. We've got some fans running up here just to keep some air circulated, because we've got to go back and rework on the AC ductwork just because there were no rooms in here before. So we put some lights in here. They weren't in here before. This was the lobby that he had. I'll show you guys, of course. When I say lobby, I mean this was an open room. We built this. So this is essentially the front door. There's a big window. I'll take you guys outside if you want to see that. So we built this, and of course these cabinets will get moved over to this wall, and they'll come down through here. Obviously the door to get out there. So let me just show you guys what it looks like outside, in case you're driving by and want to know what this is. So that's basically it. That's basically it. Gets me to work. Unfortunately, I think I've destroyed it, to be quite honest, which is a whole nother video as well. Sorry, I run my cars hard. So guys, that's pretty much it. This is kind of the beginning of the beginning. This has been what's going on. It's just been difficult, trying to get everything fixed and put it together, and we've got flooring to do, and we've got just so much stuff going on. We've got fans. Look at all these lights and things. We got to remove all these lights out of here. It's coming together, but this has literally been my life since middle of June. If you've been emailing and you're like, hey, I can't get a hold of this guy, who knows? I've probably been on the roof or digging a hole or something. So it could be anything. Hopefully all that slows down. We get back to normal. We get back to normal life. With all that being said, it's a challenge, getting into a building. I think it's an awesome opportunity. I think it is the way to go. 10 years down the road, I'll look back at this video and be like, yeah, I remember that guy. But I think, hopefully I'm in the position I want to be in 10 or 15 years from now. we don't want to do things forever. We do want to retire at some point in time. I've got 2 kids, and hopefully maybe someday those kids will take over if they want to, or we'll sell the business with the building, rent the building. I don't know. It's been some struggles, man. I'm telling you, it's been tough, real tough. So we're just gonna work through it and see what we can come up with. And if you guys decide you want those videos, how this business started, how did we get to where we got? You know, there's so many layers to how did you formulate a business? How did you figure out how to rent? How did you target the market? You know, what market are you targeting? You know, how does your business model differ from other companies? How do you plan on conducting business but being different from the rest of the market? Is there a way to be different from the rest of the market? And the answer to all those are, you know, those are hurdles. Those are things that I had to overcome and figure out. And in 2017, I started a YouTube channel with 134 subscribers, and now there's over 60,000. So somewhere along the way, I figured it out. If you want to know how to do it, let me know. Maybe it's time to make some YouTube videos. Guys, I'll catch up with you again.